Hey guys, welcome to Mom Topic. Today I want to talk about menu planning and supper hacks, sort of ish, kind of. So if you watched any of my videos lately or seen any of my posts, you'll see that I'm trying to do a lot of money saving things and we're trying to be more frugal. I've kind of adapted some things for suppers that are cheap, that the kids like, that are easy, and just some ways to make supper time just an easier thing. So to start off, one thing I do is menu plan. And I know I feel like a lot of people hear menu planning and they're like, run away. They don't want to hear anything about it because it's just difficult and hard. But it's not. It's really, really easy. And so I want to show you how simple it is and how I do it. So this is my actual menu that I just made up last Thursday or whenever it was. And so it looks a little rough. It's nothing fancy. I don't have this like pretty like paper printable thing to show you. This is just a notebook paper with writing on it. I would probably put this behind it so you can actually see. I don't know if you can see. But what I do is I literally just write down the days until I go grocery shopping next. So I typically go grocery shopping on Thursdays. So I have Friday to the following, or till like the next Thursday. I don't know if you can really see it. And then I write down the kids' lunch because I want to make sure I have all their lunch stuff. And then breakfast is always pretty much the same around here between a few different things, and I always am pretty stocked up on those. So I don't have to worry about breakfast too much for the boys, except for maybe on Saturdays. But besides that, I have the boys' lunches and then I have our suppers. And so the first thing I do, as you can see, this is my previous weeks. I go through and I mark off the suppers that we actually did, and I circle the suppers that we didn't. For whatever reason, if we went out to eat that night, or if someone brought us something, or whatever it is, if there was a reason, maybe we just weren't really feeling that supper for the night, and I didn't make it, I'll circle it, and then I'll be sure to put that first thing on here. So any suppers that we didn't make go straight onto this week's schedule. So that way I already have the stuff to make it since I didn't make it before, and that's a whole night of supper done, taken care of, got the stuff, don't have to spend money for, works great. Next I go to my fridge and see if there's anything going bad. If I have already opened spaghetti sauce, pizza sauce, sour cream, anything that's already been opened that needs to be used up, I'll try to find recipes if I already have a recipe that I know of, or I'll try to find new recipes to use up anything that's gonna go bad. Recently I bought, I think it was like 40 pounds of chicken that has lasted us for a really, really long time. So we're doing a lot of chicken recipes just because I got it for 99 cents a pound. And so it just has went really far and has made supper so much easier. CJ's a little tired of chicken, but I'll throw beef meals in there every now and then, but the chicken is just so nice to already have on hand. I try to keep a lot of chicken, obviously we have a ton of, and I try to keep enough beef to kind of last us through, and I like to buy it bigger portions and then freeze it, that way we have enough to carry us through and I know what I'll have to meat. So typically I'll go through and I'll pick out the stuff to go with what I need to use up, and then I'll kind of tally how much beef I need, and then I'll buy that amount of beef when I go grocery shopping, maybe a pound or two extra, just to kind of have a stock of it. And that's literally as simple as it is. And if I know I'm gonna have people over, we have people over every other Monday. We have our family together. So if it's my turn to make the main dish, I'll make sure that I grab a bigger portion of whatever I'm making to make sure it goes far enough. Like last time I made taco chicken casserole, so I made sure I got 2 of everything so I can make 2 casseroles. And it's just really easy if I know we're doing something on Saturday that we're going to be having to get together, or on Sunday we're going to eat at the church, or whatever it may be. I try to plan ahead to whatever it's going to be, and then it makes it nice and easy. I try to keep things like potatoes and veggies and different things on hand, so that way if suddenly, you know, we're like, hey, this Sunday we're staying after church and I haven't been grocery shopping and I don't want to go grocery shopping yet, I can try to kind of come up with something that I already have without going into the store. I try to go to the store every other week, no exceptions. If we're running low on things, if we're out of something, we just try to make do. So that's a big way I save money too, is going every other week and not going like if it's Tuesday, the week before we go grocery shopping, we don't run to the store and get milk. We just make do for like 2 days without milk. If we're out of eggs, we make do with whatever it is that we're out of. We try to just go through the last couple of days maybe, and that way we don't go and buy way more than we need or spend money. Another thing that I do to help, I have like, this is a scary place up here and it's very crazy, so I can never remember things. And so I keep this grocery list, I laminated it so that I can just write on it with erase marker. And then it's kind of got different categories or whatever. But if I'm in the kitchen and I use up all of something, I'll typically leave whatever it is, if it's a bag, a container, or whatever, I'll leave it on the counter, and then I don't throw it away until I write it on this list. That way I don't forget it, that I used it all up and I need more. If the boys need something, if it's like a bathroom item, whatever, and while it's in my brain and front and center, I try to hurry up and write it down, so that way I never forget. That way I don't buy something I didn't really need, and that way if I really do need it, I know I need it and it's on here. So this has really helped me a lot because I cannot remember everything, and if I like make a grocery list the day before I go and I haven't done anything on here, I will forget everything or spend way more than I needed because I'm like, I think I need this, and I didn't really, and I totally miss everything that I really needed. So that was kind of a few things to help plan your suppers ahead. But sometimes we go to our parents. My mom and dad's are every other Monday, and then his parents are every other Thursday. So, but there are times that something comes up and we don't go to one of the houses or whatever it may be, and I typically plan on my menu, like I'll have like mom's house, his mom's house, you know, I'll have that planned out and not have a supper. And then if we don't go, it's not like we have to eat out because I wasn't planning for this. I have some things that I keep on hand at all times that are cheap and that don't go bad, that make supper easy and effortless, and the kids actually like. So one thing I recommend doing is keeping taco shells. We love soft taco shells, that's all we buy, and I keep them in my freezer. I try to always have 1 pack of soft shells in my freezer at all times. And we are probably not normal people. We literally, a taco here consists of meat and cheese and a taco shell. So it's really simple for us to have tacos. I can literally just throw some beef in the microwave, put some taco seasoning on it, get my cheese in my shell. Maybe I'll make up some oven potatoes or pop open some corn or something. But it's really, really simple, fast supper that I have on hand at all times. At any point, we can pretty much have tacos at any random time we want. I hope CJ isn't listening because he's gonna make me make tacos if I keep talking about it. Another thing that I try to keep on hand at all times is spaghetti stuff. Just some noodles and some sauce. Lately, our Aldi's has had spaghetti sauce, different flavors and stuff, for just 85 cents, which is really, really cheap. So I bought a bunch of it, and now literally, like, we like beef in our spaghetti, but there are nights that, to make it cheaper and faster, we go without, and it'll just be some noodles and some sauce. And the kids like it, and CJ likes it, and it's really, really cheap. And then I also try to keep sliced plain French bread. So apparently, I didn't know, I thought I was like being all fancy, but the cut is the same price as the non-cut. So just pay for someone, or you're not even paying for someone else to cut it. It's already, so just get the cut, it just makes it easy. But we bought one of these loaves a while back for a party or something, and it didn't get used. And I stuck it in my freezer, and it lasted us forever, because what I would do with it is I would take these straight from the freezer, just like this is straight from my freezer, and I will put butter on it, put some garlic salt, some cheese, and it is so good. It is delicious, and we won't go through this whole loaf. It'll literally maybe like to here, this much bread in one meal. And so you can get 3 or 4 meals out of this one loaf. We also make little pizzas out of these and different things, but it makes spaghetti go farther because we eat garlic bread with it, and I don't have to buy garlic bread. This is just always in my freezer, and it's easy to just grab and make, and that's a simple meal. That's 2 simple meals right there that you can have ready on hand at any point in time to just make up, and it's yummy. And now I'm getting hungry. Some noodles and some sauce. Another thing that I try to do now, for the longest time we were like, hey, we eat leftovers, yeah, maybe we'll eat leftovers, and so I put them in the fridge, they last in there for a few days, maybe a few weeks, and then they get thrown away, and that's it. So now I try to, if it's something that can be freezed, I put it in my containers and I freeze them, and they're in there, and then if there's a supper where maybe I'm not really hungry, but CJ's hungry, or if he's wanting a snack, or if I don't know what to make, I can just pull out things from our leftovers and from the freezer, and then there's a meal. Voila! Making food go farther, and making it, if you spread it out, it doesn't feel like you're eating the same thing over and over again. Like leftovers, I always feel like you eat chili on Monday, and you could eat chili on Tuesday and Wednesday, and by Thursday you're just kind of done with it, if your chili goes that far. So freeze it and get it out for a later day, and maybe a different week. You can put it on your menu, whatever it is. Just put it in your freezer for a later time. Also, one thing I like to do is purposefully make more. There was a recipe, of course, I don't know what it was now, and I had to make up chicken for it, and made extra. I put in a couple, like 1 or 2 extra pieces and made extra on purpose so that way I knew that I could make something later out of it. And so I used it for the actual recipe, and then a couple days later I made something completely different out of it. And you could also just make double of everything and then put half in your freezer. And so just think ahead and plan ahead. You're already cooking, you're already making it, so why not make extra and freeze it for later? Alright, so my last tip is kind of simple and silly, but it's how I work, so maybe this will help someone. But there are some days that we are prone to eating out. I know when I used to work, we would go to town on Thursdays. It was something I got off at like 6 or a little later, and my husband got off not much before then, if around the same time. And then we had to go grocery shopping, and we didn't want to be out late, and so we just would always eat out. And that was kind of a nice little treat to do. Now we have kids, and eating out is expensive. And for the longest time, it was just kind of a tradition. It's what we did, so we would eat out on Thursdays. And we typically ate out on Sundays, and it just started really adding up. So now what I do, I take my handy dandy menu, and on Thursdays, and typically Wednesdays too, because Wednesdays with church is kind of a crazy day, I plan crock pot meals. So that way, the first thing I do is I get myself breakfast, and then I try to, before lunchtime, I have supper done and in the crock pot ready to go. So that way, instead of being tempted to being like, oh, you know, it's time to start thinking of supper, and I really don't feel like cooking, and we're gonna be in town anyway, so like, it is that big of a deal. Don't have to worry about feeling that way because supper was done hours ago in the crock pot ready to go. And my favorite, I have like, I don't know how many different recipes I have, where you literally put chicken and a bunch of other stuff on top, and it just cooks and it's done. Like, you don't have to like put like any thought into it. You just pour everything into a crock pot, turn it on, and supper's done. And so instead of being prone to picking up the phone and ordering pizza or going out to eat or whatever it is, on those days that you typically find yourself eating out, start doing crock pot meals, and you will save yourself a lot of money from not eating out. That is all I have for you. At least that's all I can think of at this moment. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time. Comment below maybe some of your supper tips, hacks, whatever you have. If you have video ideas, I'd love to hear from you. Be sure to give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, whatever you may need to do. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.